this is how a lot of people think. They get an inspired impression, and listen to this part, and then they do nothing with it. In 2024, I'm going to do these short bursts on Facebook. A lot of these go to my podcast, America's Coach. If you ever want to get my podcast, it's under America's Coach. These are short bursts of energy. I will be doing some long form podcast this year as well, where we really unpack things, interview things like this. But today I want to talk to you about inspired impressions. And an inspired impression, it's a thought that just kind of downloads right to your brain. So when you think about an inspired impression, it's something that prompts you to do something. And it could be crazy. It could be wild. It could be outlandish. It could be big. You could get it from hearing a song. You could get it from during a workout. You could get it from a conversation. You could get it by seeing something creative. But an inspired impression is something that's like prompting you, okay? Now, if you're a faith-based person, some people may believe this is the Holy Spirit prompting you to take an action, to do something. What I find, it's like a pray drive moment. You know, and I wrote the book, Flip the Switch. I ask a lot of questions, Molly, and one of those questions was like, what activates a person's drive to want to go do something? And it's typically like a flicker of something. It's typically like it's just like I don't know how to explain it, but more than anything, I just started calling it an inspired impression. I got that from Dave Blanchard, who I did some coaching with for about 6 months. And he talked about this inspired impression would be a prompting to call somebody, to follow up with somebody, to take an action on something. So what happens when you have this inspired impression is a lot of people go, well, that's crazy, right? Your brain goes, well, that's crazy. I could never do that. Like I could never have Garth Brooks at the Greatness Factory for an evening with Garth Brooks. Or like this is how a lot of people think. They get an inspired impression, and listen to this part, and then they do nothing with it. And the reason they do nothing with it is because of some kind of lack of confidence, lack of belief, which is the opposite of a remarkable boldness. See, the remarkably bold person says, boom, 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 let me figure out a way to do this. The insecure person goes, that's crazy. I don't even know where that came from. It's not even possible. Anything is possible if you attach an action to the thought, right? And we call that in our coaching program, which is now called competitive intelligence. We call that going from mental creation to physical action. I do a whole thing on this called From A to B, right? And B is your desired outcome. It's like what you see in your brain. A is where you are, and what gets you to B is through people and action, really at the end of the day, right? Some people could say technology could get you there, and maybe it can, but really what gets you there is by going from seeing something in the mind's eye, that's your imagination, Tony Woodall, and then taking an action toward that B goal, okay? Right, Michael Little? So you see it in the mind's eye, and you go, this is what I want. This would be an ideal world. Then you start taking these inspired acts. This is what people don't do. You know, this is what people don't do is they see it, but then they don't take an action toward it. So they have an inspired impression. They don't think it's possible, Daniel Hodges. They talk themselves out of it, and then they just contract or resign. The word resign means to give up on something. They just give up on it, and they go back to what they were doing. And how many millions of people do this every year? So what we need is a stimulus and a framework. You want to get a text daily from me, 5 days a week, activate and reactivate the Pray Drive, some of my best concepts, a little shot of Coach every single morning. I want you to text this number, text Monster Producer to this number, and I'd love to come into your life every single morning and get that Pray Drive activated. Let's go. So I'm giving you the stimulus this morning. We're calling it an inspired impression. Inspired impression is a download that you get from wherever, the world, the universe, God, and it's like, boom. Now it's like, okay, what do I do with this? What I need to do with this is I need to take an action toward that, and it's going to come through a person. It's like when Bruce Wilkerson wrote maybe the prayer of Jabez, that was one. But basically what he was saying in that book is that all miracles come through people. Okay, they come through people. Now, here's the point. All of your dreams are going to come through people. All of your hopes are going to come through people. All of your goals are going to come through people. All the money you ever make in your life is going to come through other people. If all the money in your pocket started in the pocket of another person, and the only reason they gave you their money is because you solved a problem for them or you helped you. As I wrap this up, what we're trying to do, Charlie, is we're trying to teach people how to go from an inspired impression to an action, find our who's, and move toward our B goal. And that would be from my book, A to B, and flip the switch. And it's a competitive intelligence rule, right? We don't sit on inspired thoughts, Corey. We take action on inspired thoughts. And that's really the difference between people that do big things and people that do small. Remarkable boldness, courage to take an action, right? That's really the difference right there. So let's have a great 2024. Competitive intelligence is still open. It's only $97 a month. If you want to get in, I'll post a link. It's weekly coaching with me, message to your phone, online academy. I mean, it is really a dollar for dollar more value than any program I've ever created. So if you really want to go a little bit deeper, you need to be in that program. But these are some of the things that I'm teaching. It's expanded my ability to teach a lot more things about how I think and how I take action than the previous program, Monster Producer. So that's why I'm so excited about it, okay? So let's make it a great day, Carla. Everybody needs a coach in life. A good coach can change your life. Competitive intelligence is the know-how of winning. Today we talked about inspired impressions to an action, and I'm sure you got some of those this year coming into the new year, right? All right. Love you guys.